I think he was well said, and he was direct, and it was like, all right, can we end it now? Can we stop it? I feel like that's where he was going. We're going to deal with it in week 5. Let's deal with it now. Let's be over with it. Let's move on. Real quickly, though, Hackett gets fired in Denver after 15 weeks. It's an embarrassment. Obviously, he's worked his entire life. He's 43 years of coaching, or 43 years of his life to get to this point, and then it all comes crumbling down. And you got to think that's an embarrassing thing for him. Something that Rodgers hit on when we spoke was he's an amazing family man. Now, you might say, well, they're all amazing. Yes, Hackett has 2 young kids and a wife, and they got fired in Denver, and they have to move to New Jersey. But, when you have a family and you come to this new town and the kids are coming here and they're getting settled, and this is what's in the headlines for the week after you've already dealt with the embarrassment, it's tough. And I think that's what he means by the code, saying, we all know that this is all within the lines and everything, but when it comes to families and dealing with that embarrassment and dealing with having to explain to your kid for a second time why your father's in the paper and in the back page of the New York Post, I think that's where he's going there, and I think that's why it upsets so many people in the coaching community. What I'm fascinated by, and the Jets thing now, we've heard from Saleh, we've heard from Rodgers, we've heard from Hackett. What were the conversations in Denver? Because we don't know those conversations. Let me explain why. Let's look at the original comments from Sean Payton on Thursday in the USA Today. There was this here. There's so much dirt around that. There's 20 dirty hands for what was allowed, tolerated in the training rooms, the meeting rooms. And then he mentions this. That was the parents who allowed it. That's not an incrimination on him, but an incrimination on the head coach, which was Hackett, the GM, George Payton, who is still there, the president, Damani Leach, who was a league employee for many years, who is still there, and everybody else who watched it all happen. So I think everyone thinks this is Broncos, Jets, and the fallout of, the Jets are insulted and hurt, and they're protecting their guy Hackett, and Hackett's, personal coaching career was on. I think there's conversations to be had in Denver also. So to me, that was the first level, the Jet stuff. How's it all being handled in Denver? Because the GM that he called out, the president that he called out, those guys are still there also.
Do you think it's an apology tour from Payton around the building?
No.
So it's just deal with it?
I think he said what he said on Saturday. He thought he was wearing the Fox hat, which means he was still in one of these seats.
It's the biggest cop-out I've ever heard.
It might be. And you know what? He was talking, and he said what he said, and he went over the line, and he knows it. But you know what? Sean hasn't called Hackett. Sean hasn't.
Doesn't know Hackett.
He doesn't know Hackett.
I don't
think he's going to call Hackett.
Yeah.
I think Sean's also from the Parcells tree where a little chaos is good. Throw a little, let's go. Okay, they're talking about Denver again. And this is kind of what I was going to say on Friday on the show. It's they needed that beehive to be knocked around in Denver. They've been to the playoffs since 2016. I'm not condoning anything Payton said. I know Hackett and I know Saleh, and those guys were really hurt by this. I don't think it's about them, though. I think this was about Sean Payton getting his guys, okay, new bosses in town, and we're all going to be in the crucible if we don't step up.
But he's not the boss. That's the thing, is he's calling out his actual bosses in that quote. And him saying that he was wearing his Fox hat on Saturday morning flies in the face of what you tweeted on Friday about Sean Payton, which is this man goes about everything like it's a recipe in a cookbook. So did he just not did he think, that he thought maybe the response was going to be, wow, Sean Payton's more pro-Russell in this quote, but everyone was like, damn, you went after Nathaniel Hackett. Like, what?
He didn't apologize for his quote. He said he regretted that he went over, he didn't show enough restraint. He did not apologize. I think his intention was to shake things up a little, and that he did.
And then lastly, if I were Russell Wilson, I would feel so insulted by this quote, that he was like trying to have his guys back, yet you're just called a child, if so facto, in that quote, because the parents let it get out of hand. Russell Wilson, you are the child that was like lashing out last year and was kicking and stomping your feet and wanting a parking spot in an office and stuff. Like, and now all of a sudden, like, the new dad's in town and he's going to be a lot more strict. If I was Russell Wilson, I'd be like, what kind of dynamic are you trying to adopt here?
Yeah, Kyle said it last week when the comments came out, and he said, if I'm Russell Wilson, like, I'm not just going to allow everybody else to take the blame. My play was my play. But back to Nathaniel Hackett, when I heard these comments yesterday, it was just a matter of, he said what you expected him to say. And I saw some people respond, and they're just like, who cares? Like, Hackett, stop crying. Like, just come out and say you sucked in Denver. And it's just like, Well, why should he have to keep saying that? He was in Denver. He was the head coach. We all know it failed. He was fired for it. Every week they'd go out there, whether it was a clock mismanagement at the end of the game, for whatever reason they would end up on the losing side of a game. He had to stand in front of the media. He had to do a press conference and talk about why the team was where they were. He's dealt with that week after week while he was in Denver. You're fired, you start with the Jets. He has no reason to continue to apologize for what transpired when he was on the Denver Broncos. So I was like Nathaniel Hackett more after hearing his response to Sean Payton of just like you said, letting it kind of roll off his back and focusing on what's to come. Because the whole cold thing, you think about it even from a player's perspective. When another player takes over, somebody's benched or whatever happens, no one steps up and says, oh yeah, that guy before me sucked. When Matt Ryan ended up in Indy, he doesn't talk about Carson Wentz. When Tannehill takes over for Mariota, Jimmy G this year isn't going to stand at the podium and be like, my goodness, it's a good thing we got that guy Carr out of here because he just couldn't get it done. You just don't do it. You understand you could easily be in that position.
You were on a lot of Titans teams that had a fired coach come in.
Yeah.
Did the new coach ever come in behind closed doors say, hey, new boss, that coach was terrible, or they didn't even tell you the teams that coach was terrible?
They never outwardly, and I think that's what they were alluding to. They never outwardly say it. What they do is they come in, and every sign that's in the building, all these good morning football signs, they all come down. Every saying they have, whatever it may be, and then they put new ones up, and it's kind of their way of saying that old way, that old culture, like it's gone. But you never specifically say it was embarrassment and things like that, those triggered words, you know?
Well, I look at what Hackett said. And a nice person, high road, polite, good for him, bravo. Offensive guy, I would have liked a little more offense. Just a little, because it's there. I mean, easily. If he mentioned glass houses, if he had come out and said, you know, Sean Payton, like, you got a spotless resume? Like, you want to take shots right now? Do you want to look back on your career? Like, that would have been very, very easy. I also think, you know, all he did was reference this sort of arcane code and then hide behind it. I'm sure he doesn't want to be part of the story. But as someone who sympathized with him and sympathized with the Jets, I would have liked it. I would have liked to hear him say, I know what I'm doing on offense. This offense works. And it's nice that this year I'll actually have a quarterback who can run it. You know, I would like that. That's going to be a nice change. Then you pull in the Russ factor, because the missing piece in all of this, in the strings on the bulletin board, is Russell has still said nothing. You know, if you go to his Twitter, it's scripture, and that's all great. And I know he's not wired that way. But there are some really important questions to be asked here, specifically that his head coach came in and said he did nothing wrong whatsoever, and it was all his bosses, and the last coach took accountability from him completely. So I know Russ is focused on this season and this camp. Like, this is a big story, and it's going to be bigger next week when Hard Knocks comes out. I would like to hear him say something about the deal here, and he said squat.
But we talked about that, was it 2 days ago, wanting what we think Russell would say, and you both kind of assumed it would have been a benign answer anyways. Peter, do you think Russell, like, what could he even say that would further the story at all, besides just, like, everyone has their opinions and I'm going to try to work hard and make my game better?
To Kyle's point, there's this, like, connect the dots. So you've got now 2-on-2 NBA Jam. You've got Hackett and Rodgers, and you've got Russell Wilson and Payton, and let's go to war.
I think there's no love in that lineup either. Between the quarterbacks.
No. I don't either.
That's what
they
I'm
had
saying.
a lot of battles.
No.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
About the Rodgers stuff. You've been gone. Vacation's over, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. It's called a pretzel.
Sure. Exactly. You're toasted. You're rolled gold, baby.
Salted.
You're sitting there with Rodgers. He's pretty much unloading on Payton.
Yeah.
I'm not giving anything away here. You're a Payton guy. You've said it many times. You've worked side by side with him. I think you like Sean Payton. What was that like for you personally, hearing someone of Rodgers' stature just kneecapping Payton as you're sitting there?
Yeah, I respect the hell out of Rodgers for having his guys back, and I would hope he would have his back. I just asked a question, talk about Hackett. He went where he went with the Payton stuff, and I'm like, my response was, I was almost flabbergasted. I was like, respect, fair, and it is all fair. I can't condone what Sean Payton said.
Yeah.
Sean Payton, that I knew from Fox for a year, we had a really great working relationship. I can't condone those comments that he made about Nathaniel Hackett. I don't, you know, and I also think this is all in a little bit of a way in the world this is WWF to me a little bit. This is Sean Payton trying to get his guys going. So I'm also not as staunchly offended and clutching my pearls like a lot of people. There's some real life problems in the world too, you know?
Do you suspect that the alleged regret he expresses is BS? You think he regrets anything, or is that just like housekeeping?
I think he regrets going as far as he went, but I don't think he regrets doing the interview.
I think when he said that it thought it had his Fox hat on, I was like, you just dragged a bunch of TV people under the bus as if
he
we
said
like.
we're great at what
No,
we
I'm just
do.
kidding.
If he talked like that on Fox last year, he would still have his Fox hat on.
Yes.
I mean, he would be running
$100
Fox.
million contract, McAfee style.
Yeah, right? I think that's a pittance for what he would. That's pretty good.
I worked with Sean for 22 weeks. He didn't say anything like that.
No.
But you used,
They never knew.
you used to tell a lot of off-the-camera stories about Sean that Sean would hold court.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe
he's
some
like a
of that
raconteur.
stuff.
He's amazing.
And he hasn't said a single one of those stories, and that's why they're still such good friends, because Peter's that guy about
That's
that.
true.
But at the end of the day, Payton is a Parcells guy. And when I say Parcells guy at home, you're like, well, what does that mean? Parcells chaos is good. Let's have some chaos. So to this, I think the Broncos have been an irrelevant franchise since 2016 when Peyton Manning was last their quarterback. They've been in the playoffs since. In a little bit of a way, I think Sean's waking up every morning and it's like, all right, people are talking about the Broncos. Now we got to go back it up. I'm okay with that.
Let's go play.
Yeah, that's true, because the Saints were never like that when he was there.